The last moment of my Aunt Jaya. In the canyon river, my aunt fell into the water and her wet breasts exposed. At that time, the older uncle was angry because the younger uncle saw the aunt. From that day on, the older uncle came to see my aunt often. I had to tag along with my aunt and the older uncle whenever they went to the theater or the beach. Why did they do that? My aunt always held my hand tightly. In the summer, we went to the beach. Of course, my aunt, the older uncle and I. The older uncle was also a good swimmer. He would wiggle his toes as he swam, pulling up clams hidden in the sand. And he taught my aunt and me how to swim. My back was red, blistered, and peeling. And then she put sesame oil on my back. My back felt refreshed and I fell asleep. There were times when we went to the theater. We watched the famous Jaws movie together, which I still remember terribly. And I was so scared by the movie that I turned around as I was leaving the theater, wondering if Jaws would follow me. The older uncle and young uncle each liked Aunt Jaya in their own way. Ever since the young uncle discovered that my aunt couldn't read well, he asked me to read her the letter. One letter said that if he goes out to sea on a boat, he can make a lot of money. He asked if he could go out to sea by boat. In that letter with the drawing of a ginkgo leaf, then one day, older uncle's mother came to see my mother. That was the time when I had a hard time understanding the world as adults thought. Older uncle's mother came to see my mother a few more times. And then out of the blue, Aunt Jaya got engaged to the older uncle. Aunt Jaya's engagement photo hung above the door to the Haiju restaurant. My aunt's engagement photo showed her hair in thick braids over her shoulders, and the older uncle's hand on her shoulder. Beneath the photo, in thin white letters, it said, "Engagement photo," and the date was written. My aunt was wearing a white shirt, and the words, "Engagement photo," were written on the white shirt, so you had to look closely to see them. The words, "engagement photo," somehow looked really sad to me. Like my aunt's expression. I even thought about erasing those letters with white paint. After that, the young Uncle Jung-ho came to our house to say goodbye, saying he was going to go on a boat. Mr. Jung-ho said to my aunt with reddened eyes, "Take care." My aunt nodded silently and mumbled goodbye. I was keeping in mind my aunt and Uncle Jung-ho as they said goodbye with sad expressions. The old uncle started building a house on a hillside. The lot belongs to him. The old uncle sang a song while peeling the bark from a pine tree he had cut down from the mountain. I hugged the fragrant wooden pillar that I had been looking up at for a long time, thinking it would be used as a pillar. He made bricks out of yellow clay. I wrote my aunt's name on the yellow clay bricks. I cut the tree branches into small pieces and stuck them onto the yellow clay bricks. My mother made a silk cover comforter for my aunt's new house. She also made another silk comforter for my uncle's mother as a gift. When she was making my aunt's comforter, my mother's friend who runs an inn and the ladies who worked there came to help my mom. Unrolling the cotton roll, they said to my aunt, "Since you are going to marry into a small family, cover yourself with this silk blanket and give birth to several sons." My aunt felt embarrassed and quietly left. My aunt went to her new house. The older uncle brought a large flat rocks from the mountain, saying that my aunt's shoes would get mud when she hung her laundry out in the yard. He told my aunt to go for a walk in the yard. A flat rock was placed at the foot of my aunt's feet. Now my aunt can read comic books slowly. My aunt often came to our house to get comic books. Sometimes I went to my aunt's house and read comics with her, and winter passed by. I am now a third-year middle school student. I also went to private tutoring to prepare for the entrance exam for high school. I only briefly thought of my grandfather and my aunt's house. Where the pleasant smell of pine trees made me feel good. My mother had many friends in the market. One day, my mother's friend called. She said my aunt was beaten by her mother-in-law in the market. She said the mother-in-law had taken off my aunt's jacket, thrown it on the market ground and yelled at my aunt, pulling her hair and beating her several times. The mother-in-law said my aunt had a love affair with other men. My aunt was beaten by her mother-in-law while her jacket was taken off. That night, my aunt came to our house. My aunt cried non-stop, but my mother was indifferent. The next day, the older uncle came and took my aunt away. I was still afraid of failing the middle school exam. I barely managed to get into the middle school with the help of the head of the academic department, who was my father's senior from his hometown. But preparing for the high school entrance exam was different. At school, I had classes late into the night and even had to take extra classes. Mom warned me often with pressure. Mom said that if I fail the high school exams, I become a useless person. It was winter. I got a call from my aunt on Sunday morning. My aunt spoke to me in a very low voice. She told me to come to the front of the theater. Now? You want me to come to the theater in the morning? She said I could just come and go. My aunt told me to come without telling my mom. I put on my overcoat and went to the theater. I saw my aunt leaning against the wall in front of the theater. My aunt, who hadn't even tied her long hair up, was leaning against the wall next to the movie posters on it and looking at me. The theater yard showed traces of having been swept cleanly in the early morning. And the song, "Even if I hate you, it's the same world, even if I love you, it's the same world," was playing. She was holding a bottle of orange juice in her hand, half of it was empty. When my aunt saw me, she gave me a quiet, faint smile and lay down in front of me. And a stream of water flowed down from under where my aunt was lying. "Auntie, where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? Let's go to the hospital." I hugged my aunt. "Auntie, Auntie." I hugged her and screamed, and then the man came out of the theater. My aunt called me in front of the theater after she took the toxic liquid that the old dear uncle used to catch sparrows. It was only as an adult that I realized that she wanted to see me for the last time before she left this world. Mr. Jung-ho, who had been out at sea, must have come because he missed my aunt. just to see her once more. Aunt told Mr. Jung-ho about her mother-in-law who was harassing her for not being able to have a baby. And he couldn't just leave Jaya, who was going through such a hard time as a daughter-in-law. The mother-in-law pierced my aunt's heart with harsh words. Saying that she was a woman who lived as a vagabond in a rubber factory. When he heard that my aunt had been brutally beaten up for living carelessly and not being able to have been pregnant, Jung-ho made up his mind. Even though the older uncle knew about his mother's harsh treatment, he did not help my aunt. Mr. Jung-ho thought of secretly taking my aunt to another city by the sea. I kept the folded letter that was in Aunt Jaya's hands for a long time until the last moment. I am the only person in the world who knows the contents of the younger uncle's letter. Having been with Aunt Jaya during her glorious and beautiful days, I truly mourn her passing. Bye Aunt Jaya. Sorry for the late goodbye.